People wanted those stories for years. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think that people wanted those stories for years, and that's just so sad on them because it's not like that. You know what I mean? It's so crazy. And I just think it's so sad that we live in a world where people don't want to see women get along.
Hardly nobody knows. But I'll say it, man. Yeah, Beyonce's on drugs. She's been on them for a long time. And you keep her that way.
Kelly Rowland just lit the match that's got everybody talking. And it's about none other than Beyonce and JayZ. The whispers? Totally true. According to Kelly, things behind closed doors are way messier than they seem. And let's be real. If anybody knows what's really going down in that marriage, it's Kelly. She's been by Beyonce's side for decades. They're more like sisters than friends. So the fact that Kelly is even hinting at drama, that says everything. For years, folks have been side-eyeing the Carters' marriage, saying it's not as picture-perfect as it looks. And now, Kelly's comments are setting the internet on fire. People are shocked, but not that shocked, because this ain't coming from a random source. It's Kelly freaking Rowland. Let's get into it. Kelly's been there through it all. Before Beyonce and JayZ were even a thing, Kelly was right there. She saw the whole story unfold, the flirting, the dating, the engagement, the wedding, the babies, all of it. So when she talks, you better believe she's not guessing. She's speaking from experience. And the wildest part, fans actually believe her. Why would she lie? She's got nothing to gain from stirring the pot, unless what she's saying is 100% real. Plus, there's always been that quiet talk about Jay and Bey's marriage not being what it seems.
He's a monster. And I've known he's a monster for years. I waited a long time to see if he would grow a conscience. And the more he pumps down his wife's throat to keep her in a
I know, girl.
They've got almost $3 billion stacked between them, a jaw-dropping mansion, and major pull in the game. But don't let the glitz fool you. Behind all that glam, folks have been side-eyeing Beyonce and JayZ's relationship for years. Not everything inside the Carter empire is as golden as it seems. Sure, they've always pushed this image of a slow-burn love story, saying they started as friends and let things grow naturally, but not everyone's buying it. One thing that's never sat right with fans, that age gap. When they met, Beyonce was still in her teens, while Jay was already deep in his 30s. Yeah, people have been raising eyebrows ever since. Beyonce once said in an interview, "I was 18 when we first met, 19 when we started dating. There was no rush. No one expected me to run off and get married." But even with that statement, the age difference got people talking about power dynamics, and not in a good way. Then comes the real drama. According to Kelly, things were rocky from the very beginning. And the reason? JayZ was out here being reckless. Kelly says Beyonce had been dropping hints for years that things weren't right. One major clue? Her 2006 track, Resentment, where she sings, "Loving you was easy once upon a time, but now my suspicions of you have multiplied. And it's all because you lied." Whew, that line hit different. Later in that same song, Beyonce didn't hold back. She sang, "I know she was attractive, but I was here first. Been riding with you for 6 years." Translation? The cheating drama wasn't just a rumor, it was real. And it started early in their relationship, but somehow they pushed through it. And now Kelly is adding even more heat, hinting that those whispers about JayZ allegedly grooming Beyonce might actually have some truth behind them. Kelly's calling out the sketchy details in the timeline Beyonce and JayZ have shared about when they really got together. Remember when Beyonce said they met when she was 18 and started dating at 19? Well, Kelly's not buying it, and once you look closer, things get shady real fast.
What did you say to yourself at that time? Wow.
I see it. That's a fantastic talent. That what you said? Yeah. Yeah.
You saw talent first. You saw talent before you saw anything.
Yeah, she was singing like a rapper. It was always the first song with Wyclef, and she was singing really fast. And I was like, why is she singing so fast? And then she was on key and everything. I was like, oh, there's a talented person, man.
In a 2007 interview, JayZ himself said he met Beyonce about 10 years ago, which would put their first meeting around 1997. Here's the thing, Beyonce would have been just 15 or 16 back then, while Jay was almost 30. That timeline has never sat right with a lot of folks who've questioned not just the age gap, but what was really going on between them during those early years. Even though they've always claimed they started off slow, just as friends, and only later took it to the next level, people are still giving major side-eye. And it's not just about the age. There's this cringy video going around where Beyonce actually says, "JayZ taught me how to be a woman." And yeah, it's just as uncomfortable as it sounds. JayZ hasn't exactly made it easy to quiet down the talk around his relationship with Beyonce. In fact, some people think he's done the total opposite, feeding into it with lyrics that feel downright unsettling. One track that always gets brought up, "Young Girl," the verses in that song, Creepy doesn't even begin to cover it. In the lyrics, he talks about having a 19-year-old under his control, bragging about molding her, calling the shots, and basically running her world. He never says any names, but the timeline and the whole vibe of the song have led a lot of folks to believe he was throwing major hints about Beyonce. Even if it was just a song, it raised serious questions. Here's what he rapped. "Have got a young girl, still not quite 21. So high-strung, such a vibrant thing. I introduce myself. Hi, Miss Thing, you're 19. No, you're lightning in a bottle. I give you a ring tomorrow." It only gets weirder from there. The rest of the verse plays out like a twisted scene out of a horror flick. The scene that follows screams of horror. Classic Stephen King novel, he even throws in lines like, "Mama, don't think you should date someone so advanced in romance. You should just wait. Papa, don't preach." Then he goes full-on controlling, "I might mold your life. Plus, I'm gonna show you rights, proper etiquette, how to hold your knife, keep it competitive with Oprah's ice." And that wasn't a one-time thing. In his song 444, he dropped another line that had people raising eyebrows. "Don't embarrass me instead of be mine." That was my proposal for us to go steady. I've seen the innocence leave your eyes. I still mourn its death. And I apologize to all the women whom I toyed with your emotions, because I was emotionless. And because I fall short of what I say, I'm all about. Your eyes leave with the soul that your body once housed. Chilling, right? The more you dig into it, the more it starts to add up why Kelly might be feeling some type of way about him. Let's not forget, Beyonce wasn't exactly living the usual teenage life when she met JayZ. She was all about that grind, head down, chasing her dreams. She even said it herself in an interview. "My teenage years were about the grind. I grew up hearing this particular scripture from James 2:17. Faith without work is dead. Vision and intention weren't enough. I had to put in the work." She went all in. "I committed to always being a student and always being open to growth. My energy went into Destiny's Child and the dream of us getting a record deal and becoming musicians. If something wasn't helping me reach my goal, I decided to invest no time in it. I didn't feel like I had time to kiki or hang out. I sacrificed a lot of things and ran from any possible distraction." So when she linked up with JayZ, she wasn't just young, she was green, focused, but sheltered. And everything seemed cool for a while until the streets started buzzing about something way darker. Rumors started flying that JayZ was controlling her with drugs. Allegedly, there's been talk from several sources, including her former bodyguard, Uncle Ron, who claimed JayZ had Beyonce on substances. In an interview, Jaguar Wright didn't hold anything back. She straight up called JayZ a monster. She claimed he was obsessed with controlling Beyonce to the point where he allegedly keeps her isolated and under his thumb. That's not all. She made it sound like he's got her trapped in a world where he calls every shot. Then there was that weird moment at the 2023 Grammys that had everyone talking. JayZ offered Beyonce a drink, and she flat out refused. The way she looked, uncomfortable, the vibe, office people on social media were quick to say something wasn't right. This whole thing, a straight up mess. But here's the real question. Why is Kelly even spilling all this? Well, fans have theories, and one of the loudest, that Kelly's been quietly jealous of Beyonce for years. Some even believe there's more to her connection with JayZ than anyone's admitting. That viral video of Kelly and JayZ sharing a moment, it had fans convinced there was some kind of secret spark going on. And then the wildest rumor hit the internet. Some people started speculating that Kelly's son, Titan, might actually be JayZ's. Fans pointed out that the kid looks more like Jay than Kelly's husband. Now, is there any solid proof? Nah, but that theory's been floating around for a minute and it refuses to go away. On top of that, there have been whispers that Kelly's always lived in Beyonce's shadow and that it's been eating at her. If that's true, then maybe spilling the tea on Beyonce's marriage isn't just about concern. Maybe it's payback. And what makes it even messier? Kelly wasn't just a friend, she was family. She moved in with Beyonce's parents back in the 90s when things were rough at home. Kelly and Beyonce were tight, so close they even started to sound alike. But no matter how close they were, they're still two different people, living two very different lives. After Destiny's Child called it quits in 2006, they all went their separate ways, carving out their own lanes. But let's be real here. Beyonce became the star, no contest. She's not just famous, she's the kind of celebrity that even other celebs fangirl over. Remember the Grammys? It turned into a straight-up meet and greet, with stars lining up just to get a pic or say what's up. That kind of hype? Non-stop. Honestly, if people were on me like that 24/7, I'd never leave the house. But don't get it twisted. Just because Beyonce's light shines the brightest doesn't mean Kelly and Michelle didn't handle their business. They both had strong music careers with hits and success on their own terms. The real problem? People always want to compare them to Beyonce. And that's where the drama starts. Kelly's been real about how hard it was constantly being compared to her. And yeah, fans think there's some jealousy in there. She even admitted that after Destiny's Child split, it was tough watching Bey blow up. In her song Dirty Laundry, she poured it all out. When you're soaked in tears for years, it never airs out. When you make pain look this good, it never wears out. While my sister was on stage killing it like a MF, I was enraged, feeling it like a MF bird in a cage. She didn't stop there. You would never know what I was dealing with when we went our separate ways. But I was happy she was killing it. Bittersweet. She was up, I was down. No lie, I feel good for her. But what do I do now? Forget the records. Off the record, I was going through some BS post-Survivor. She on fire. Who want to hear my BS? That's straight from Kelly herself.
Hardly nobody knows. But I'll say it, man. Yeah, Beyonce's on drugs. She been on them for a long time. And you keep her that way.
Keeping it 100 about how she felt after Destiny's Child. She admitted she was a little jealous of Beyonce. And honestly, who wouldn't be? Beyonce's career didn't just take off. It exploded. Let's talk numbers. Beyonce's solo debut, Dangerously in Love, dropped while she was still technically in Destiny's Child, and it dominated. Over 300,000 copies sold in the first week, and it grabbed the #1 spot on Billboard like it was light work. Meanwhile, Kelly's debut album, Simply Deep, actually came out a year earlier. And yeah, it did all right. 77,000 copies in week 1, and it peaked at number 12 on the Billboard 200. Respectable, no doubt, but once Bey's album hit, the comparisons got brutal. You already know that had to sting. Even though Kelly owned up to feeling a little envious, they've always kept up that close bond, at least in front of the cameras. They give off those sisters for life vibes, all smiles, all love. But let's not pretend everything's always been cool behind the scenes. Word on the street, things got heated between them last year. The tea? Kelly allegedly walked off the Today Show set after the host wouldn't stop dragging Beyonce's name into the convo. Like, how's she supposed to shine when it's always about Bey? According to Page 6, Kelly was supposed to co-anchor that day, but dipped hard because she wasn't feeling the dressing room situation either. Apparently, Kelly wasn't feeling how small her dressing room was, and that's why she bailed last minute. Or at least, that's what they tried to say. Page 6 reported that Kelly and her team weren't happy with the setup, so they just yanked her from the show, leaving Hoda and her crew scrambling to find someone else to fill in for the 10 a.m. hour. Kelly was supposed to be on today to promote her new Netflix movie, Mea Culpa, produced by Tyler Perry. She's not just starring in it, she's also producing. But her sudden exit left folks at Today totally confused. Kelly's a fan favorite over there, and she was set to get a full hour on air. Plus, Hoda, she's like the ultimate hype woman. None of it made sense. But here's the real tea, that dressing room story, straight up cover up. The real reason Kelly dipped? It was all about Beyonce. An insider spilled that the room excuse was just a spin. because Kelly's been on Today plenty of times. She already knew how things worked there, including those dressing rooms. That wasn't the issue. What really went down? Savannah came in way too hot with those Beyonce questions, and Kelly wasn't having it. She and her team felt disrespected and bounced. Now that's chilly. There's a lot to unpack here, and it's looking more and more like things between Kelly and Beyonce aren't as tight as they used to be. Nobody ever expected Kelly to be the one airing out Beyonce's business like this. But here we are. So what do you think about all this drama? Is Kelly just fed up, or is there something deeper going on? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and hit that bell so you don't miss any of this piping hot tea.